Imagine you are standing at the port of the Canary Islands. The sun is like absolutely beating down on the asphalt.
Oh, yeah. That classic beautiful vacation vibe.
Right. The seagulls are calling overhead. There's this warm, beautiful breeze blowing in from the Atlantic, and you're just standing there, ready to start your brand new life.
Sounds perfect.
It does. And right in front of you is your car, your ultimate piece of moving goods. You've spent months preparing for this exact moment. You're clutching this heavy, just meticulously organized binder of documents under your arm. Like every single paper is in its own little clear plastic sleeve. You've checked it a dozen times.
Naturally, you want to be prepared.
Yeah, and in your head, importing your car tax-free is just a mere formality now. But then, you step up to the customs counter, you hand over the binder.
And that's when it happens.
Exactly. Suddenly, that relaxing vacation vibe completely evaporates. The customs officer flips through your pages, his expression hardens, he looks up at you and asks this highly specific, incredibly detailed legal question in rapid-fire Spanish.
And in that single moment, the entire illusion of preparation completely shatters.
The cold sweat breaks out. Your perfectly sorted binder has just crashed headfirst into the harsh, unforgiving reality of Spanish customs bureaucracy.
It's brutal.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are looking at the hidden legal minefield of bringing your car to the Canary Islands. And this is all based on an incredibly detailed set of sources.
Right, scripts and data sets from a specialized course on this exact topic.
Yeah. So we're going to explore exactly why having perfect paperwork is, well, it's rarely enough. We'll look at how to navigate the 4 different models of customs clearance, and most importantly, why that sunny port counter is essentially a financial trap just waiting to spring.
It really is a trap. And it's a trap because there's a fundamental misalignment in how the two sides view the situation.
Go.
We're hitting on what the sources call the auto paradox.
The auto paradox. Okay, what is that exactly?
Well, logically, if you look at it from the outside, you are moving, right? You bring your couch, your clothes, your car. As a modern citizen, you naturally assume the government has systems in place to, facilitate that transition.
Yeah, I mean, you assume they just want to check the box and let you get on with your life.
Exactly. But the paradox is that because you are claiming a specific privilege, the right to import this vehicle completely tax-free and bypass the local Canary IGIC tax, the burden of proof completely flips.
Oh, wow. So they aren't trying to help you.
Not at all. The customs officers are not sitting at that counter to facilitate your move. That word, tax-free, is an absolute alarm bell for them.
Right.
Their specific mandate is to actively hunt for the one tiny discrepancy that proves you do not qualify for this massive tax exemption.
It reminds me of, like, a terrifying oral university exam. You aren't just filing paperwork at an administrative desk. You are sitting in front of a professor who already has their red pen uncapped.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, like, they aren't looking to grade you on a curve. They are actively testing the structural integrity of your legal defense.
That is a highly accurate way to frame it.
Yeah.
And failing this particular exam results in immediate severe consequences.
It's not just a bad grade.
No, not at all. If the customs officer denies your tax exemption, the process doesn't just pause so you can run home and print another form.
Which is what you'd think would happen, right? Like, oh, I forgot a paper. Let me come back tomorrow.
You think so, but no.
Ugh.
The officer calculates the current value of your vehicle on the spot, applies the local tax rate to that value, and you suddenly owe thousands of euros right there at the counter.
Just to put a fine point on that, your entire moving budget could just be vaporized on day one because of a paperwork flaw.
Vaporized. Instantly.
That's insane. And looking at the sources, the document puzzle is incredibly dense. The officer is cross-referencing your Baja Consular, right, your consular deregistration,
Yes.
with your empadronamiento, your local registration in Spain.
Yeah, and they are scrutinizing the specific timelines between those documents. Let's say there is a mere 3-day discrepancy between the day you deregistered in your origin country and the day you officially moved.
Okay.
To a normal person, 3 days is just weekend travel time. To a customs officer, it is grounds for immediate denial.
Wait, I need to stop you there, because a 3-day discrepancy sounds like standard administrative friction.
Right.
Like you pack up, you travel, you wait for an office to open on Monday. Why is a tiny timeline gap an automatic failure?
Because of the underlying legal mechanism of what constitutes relocation goods. The Spanish government requires definitive proof The vehicle was an indispensable daily necessity in your home country right up until the exact moment of the move.
Okay, I'm following.
And it has to be immediately necessary upon arrival. So if you deregister your car on a Tuesday, but your residency timeline doesn't initiate until the following Monday, there's a gap in the legal timeline. The customs logic dictates where was the car during those days. Was it parked? Was it stored?
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah. If it was stored, it ceases to be an active daily necessity. It legally transforms into a standard commercial import.
That is incredibly strict. I mean, the system turns a logistical travel weekend into a commercial classification. But let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
Let's say my documents do have a tiny gap, right? But I've spent a few vacations in Spain. I have great conversational Spanish. I can navigate a menu, book a hotel, chat with locals with zero problems. Can I just smoothly explain to the officer that I was, just waiting for the ferry over the weekend?
What's fascinating here is the massive, dangerous gulf between what the sources categorize as restaurant Spanish and custom Spanish.
Restaurant Spanish.
Yeah, conversational fluency gives you a total false sense of security.
Yeah.
Restaurant Spanish is fantastic for small talk. But at that counter, you are suddenly subjected to an interrogation in custom Spanish.
And what does that actually sound like in practice? Give me an example.
Well, the sources provide a fatal real-world example of this exact trap. The officer is looking at your timeline gap. They ask you a highly specific legal question about the car's use.
Right.
They are trying to establish the legal difference between private relocation and commercial transfer. So, relying on your conversational Spanish, you hear a recognizable word or two.
Right. You hear a word you know.
But you don't grasp the underlying legal nuance. And you casually answer, sí, claro, yes, of course.
Because you assume they're just asking if you, plan to drive the car to the grocery store.
Exactly.
Right.
But in reality, based on the specific phrasing of the officer's question, you have just legally confessed to using the car for commercial purposes.
Oh, no.
And company cars or commercial vehicles strictly do not qualify as private relocation goods. With a casual sí, claro, you have instantly and irrevocably destroyed your tax-exempt status.
That is devastating. I mean, a financial death sentence for the import simply because I didn't understand the nuance of a legal statute disguised as a casual question.
Happens all the time.
If speaking the wrong type of Spanish is this dangerous, it feels like going to the counter alone is just a terrible idea. There must be alternatives to facing this interrogation solo.
There are. The sources outline a structural staircase of options. It's essentially 4 distinct models of customs clearance, which scale based on your skills and your risk tolerance.
Okay, what's the first step?
Well, the first step is the auto despacho.
Which I assume means doing it all yourself.
Yeah, it's the 100% DIY route. You prepare the documents, you perform the legal timeline checks, you stand at the counter alone, and you answer all the questions in Spanish.
Sounds terrifying.
It is the cheapest option because there are 0 service fees, but you carry the absolute maximum possible risk.
Right. If doing it alone is that risky, it feels like the natural compromise would be step 2. What is the second model?
Step 2 is language support. You take on the legal responsibility and prepare all the documents yourself, but you bring a translator to the counter with you to handle the communication gap.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because when I read about this second model in the sources, I thought I'd found the ultimate life hack.
I can guess where you're going with this.
Think about it from a cost-benefit perspective, right? Why would I pay a specialized legal expert hundreds or thousands of euros when I can just compile the paperwork myself and then hire a local bilingual university student for, 50 euros to stand next to me at the port? They translate the terrifying custom Spanish into English. I formulate a smart answer. They translate it back into perfect Spanish for the officer. The communication gap is bridged. Life hack.
It is a beautiful illusion, but it is entirely an illusion. In fact, utilizing a standard translator is a hidden liability trap that might actually be more dangerous than going alone with your restaurant Spanish.
Wait, really? How can having a fluent speaker next to me be more dangerous?
Because a translator is a language expert, not a customs lawyer. They understand vocabulary, not the underlying administrative law. Let's run your life hack scenario. You are standing at the counter with your hired student. The officer uses a highly specific legal term regarding your residency timelines.
Right.
The translator, not possessing a background in customs law, translates that term into casual, everyday English for you. They give you the gist of the sentence.
Which means I am formulating my response based on an incomplete casual translation?
Precisely. You give an answer based on that slightly inaccurate translation. The translator then repeats your answer in Spanish to the officer.
Oh, boy.
And the officer enters that specific translated answer directly into the legal system. If that translated answer violates a customs statute, the exemption is denied and the tax is applied.
But I would instantly push back. I would just tell the officer, wait, my translator misunderstood the legal phrasing? That's not what I meant.
The Spanish Customs Office does not care about your translator. The translator holds zero legal liability in this transaction.
Ouch.
Their name is not on the import documents. You are the one signing the paper. You are the official applicant. Therefore, you pay the massive fine.
Wow.
You cannot legally hide behind a bad translation. You have essentially just paid someone 50 euros to politely escort you into financial ruin.
Consider the life hack officially debunked. That is terrifying.
Which is why the sources point towards Step 3 professional support. This involves hiring an actual expert to audit your paperwork beforehand.
So they do the heavy lifting before you go.
Right. They scrutinize your timelines, spot the dangerous gaps, and prepare you for the exact questions the officer will ask. You still go to the counter yourself, but you arrive with a heavily fortified legal defense.
Got it. And the final step on the staircase.
Step 4 is full delegation. You hand over the binder of documents and the car keys to a specialized agency, and they handle the entire operative process from start to finish.
So you don't even go to the port.
You never even step foot in the port. It is the most expensive option up front, but by far the safest regarding risk management.
This raises an important question for the listener, I think. How do you actually know which step you belong on? Like, how do you know if you are truly cut out for Model 1, the completely solo auto despacho, or if you need to protect yourself with Models 3 or 4?
The sources provide a brutal reality check. It is a litmus test you can perform right now at your kitchen table before you even book a ferry.
Okay, let's hear it.
Take your entire file of documents and lay every single piece of paper out in front of you.
Okay, I have my stack of papers spread out.
If you can point to every single document and blindly explain its legal necessity, meaning you can articulate exactly which Spanish law it satisfies and how it chronologically links to the other documents to prove an uninterrupted timeline of your move, then you are prepared for the auto despacho.
And if I hesitate, if I look at like a deregistration form and think, I'm not totally sure why I need to show this specific date, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Is the single most expensive thought you can have when dealing with customs.
That bad, huh?
If you have that thought, you have failed the litmus test. Hoping for luck or hoping the officer's having a good day and simply overlooks a timeline gap is not a strategy. It is gambling with thousands of euros. If you fail the kitchen table test, you need an expert.
Okay, so let's assume I failed the test. I look at my papers, I realize the timeline is tricky, my restaurant Spanish is insufficient, and I need a professional. The natural modern reflex is to jump on Google and search for, I don't know, car import Canary Islands help.
Right.
But according to the sources, this general search is a massive structural trap. Why is finding help so dangerous?
Because the Spanish bureaucratic system has distinct tiers of authorization that general searches just do not reveal. When you search for general administrative help in Spain, you will almost certainly be directed to a gestoria.
A gestoria. What exactly is a gestoria and why are they a trap?
A gestoria is a general administrative office. They are fantastic resources for everyday civil life. If you need to set up your local electricity, get your home internet running, apply for a basic tax identification number, they are exactly who you call.
Okay, they sound helpful.
They are generalists.
But many of them explicitly advertise that they assist with vehicle imports, don't they?
They do offer the service, but here's the critical systemic architecture you have to understand. A gestoria does not possess the specific cryptographic certification required to log directly into the Spanish National Customs Server.
Oh.
The only entity that holds that specialized license is an agente de aduanas, a certified customs agent.
So if a gestoria doesn't have access to the server, how are they offering the import service?
They take your paperwork and then they outsource the actual heavy lifting to an agente de aduanas behind the scenes.
Which means I am unknowingly paying 2 middlemen instead of 1.
Exactly. You are paying the gestoria's significant markup on top of the actual customs agent's operational fee.
That's incredibly frustrating.
And gets worse. You are playing a dangerous game of telephone with your legal defense. If the agente de aduanas has a critical question about your timeline, they ask the gestoria asks you, you answer the gestoria, and they relay it back.
Oh man, nuance is definitely lost there.
Nuance is lost, and delays are absolutely inevitable.
And there is a geographic layer to this trap as well, right? If I just search for Spain car import, I might end up hiring an agency based in Madrid or Barcelona.
Which is a fatal error, because mainland Spain operates on a completely different tax system known as the IVA. The Canary Islands have their own unique autonomous tax regime, the IGIC.
So the mainland people might not even know the island rules.
Right. A mainland agency might be brilliant at navigating IVA, but completely ignorant of the highly specific island exemptions regarding relocation goods. You could easily end up paying taxes you were legally exempt from simply because your agency didn't understand the local jurisdiction.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The sources don't just warn us about these traps, they actually provide a magic filter to cut through all the noise on Google and find the right expert immediately.
Yes, the H1 code.
The H1 code. Build some suspense for us. What is the H1 code? It sounds like a secret password you slide across the counter.
It is actually a back-end administrative command inside the Spanish customs interface.
Okay.
When a vehicle is physically entered into the customs computer system, the software automatically calculates and applies the IGIC tax based on the vehicle's value. The H1 code is the specific command string that an agente de aduanas must input to tell the system, hey, this specific vehicle is part of a verified change of residence. Zero out the tax calculation.
It is the literal off switch for the tax on the server.
Exactly. Without that specific command, the system physically cannot process the exemption. So if you are searching online for representation, you do not type generic phrases like car help. You search specifically for H1 Vehículo Canarias.
Oh, that's smart.
Any true agente de aduanas who specializes in relocation goods will prominently use that terminology because it proves they understand the actual mechanical backend of the tax exemption.
That immediately filters out the generalists. Once you find a provider using the H1 code, the sources give us a rapid-fire checklist of 5 screening questions to ask them during the initial phone consultation. What's the first question we need to ask?
Question 1 is straightforward. Do you perform the actual system registration yourself?
Which immediately exposes whether they are a gestoria intending to outsource the work or the actual agente de aduanas with server access.
Correct. Question 2. Do you have specific experience processing H1 imports?
That makes sense. You want to verify they know the terminology. But I mean, what prevents a provider from just confidently saying yes to get your business? How do you verify they actually know what they're doing before you hand over your money?
That leads directly to question 3. What documents do you require from me upfront? A legitimate professional will demand to review your entire file, your purchase contracts, your ferry tickets, your deregistration timelines, before they ever promise you a successful outcome.
Wow. Before they promise anything.
Yes. If they promise success before analyzing your timeline gaps, they are lying to you.
They have to see the whole puzzle before committing. So what is question 4?
Question 4 addresses the financial reality. Are there any hidden port fees or external costs? You must establish exactly what the port authority will charge you for physical handling or storage on top of the agent's service fee to avoid massive surprises on the final invoice.
Nobody likes those surprises. And the final screening question.
Are you available by phone during the actual physical check at the counter?
Because things can go wrong.
Exactly. Even if they prep you perfectly, the officer might throw a curveball question. You need absolute certainty that your expert is a phone call away, ready to step in and speak authoritative customs Spanish on your behalf.
The sources also highlight a massive red flag to watch out for during this initial vetting phase, don't they?
A glaring red flag. If you call an agency, briefly explain you want to import a car, and they immediately respond with, no problem, we can handle it, it'll be a flat fee of 500 euros, and they say this without ever reviewing a single document, you must hang up the phone immediately.
Because it is impossible to quote a flat rate without seeing the complexity of the specific case.
Exactly. Every single import is unique. They cannot possibly know how much legal maneuvering your specific timeline gaps will require until they analyze the dates on your paperwork.
Yeah.
A flat fee quoted blindly over the phone is a 100% guarantee of hidden costs and upcharges later in the process.
This has been such an incredibly eye-opening dive into the mechanics of bureaucracy. If I had to summarize the journey we've just taken, it's this: successfully bringing your car to the Canary Islands is not really a logistical challenge. Booking a spot on a shipping freighter is the easy part.
Definitely.
The real challenge is recognizing that this process is a high-stakes legal defense built entirely on precise risk management.
That is the perfect synthesis. You are not simply moving a heavy metal box. You are legally defending your statutory right to a tax exemption against an entity actively looking to deny it.
And there is a truly fascinating philosophical angle embedded in the source material that I just can't stop thinking about. When you observe this grueling, analog, highly stressful interrogation at the customs counter, you have to wonder about its purpose. Is this merely an example of bloated, inefficient bureaucracy? Or is it functioning as a psychological filter? Almost like a fiery initiation test deliberately maintained by the Spanish authorities to see if an incoming resident has the grit, the patience, and the rigorous preparation required to survive the daily realities of island administration.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights a profound modern contradiction. We're currently living in an era where we expect absolutely everything to be seamless, frictionless, and borderless.
Oh, absolutely.
Our data moves to cloud servers on the other side of the planet in milliseconds. We transfer vast sums of money across the globe with a thumbprint on our phones. We work remotely across continents without a second thought. We have become deeply accustomed to a world without friction.
We really have. We expect the physical world to accommodate us just as rapidly as the digital one.
But physical objects, especially heavy, highly regulated, high-value assets like a vehicle, remain stubbornly anchored to physical geography and sovereign control.
That's a great point.
Perhaps the intense friction you experience at that sunny port counter is not just about a government collecting a few thousand euros in local taxes. That counter is the exact physical coordinate where our modern illusion of a frictionless, borderless reality violently collides with the ancient, unyielding reality of the nation-state protecting its borders and its revenue.
The customs counter as the edge of the modern illusion. That is a brilliant way to look at it.
It asks us to consider something quite profound. Do we truly understand the immense weight of our physical possessions until a sovereign government forces us to stand there, plastic binder in hand, and rigorously, legally defend our right to move them across a line on a map?
So next time you find yourself standing at a beautiful sunny port, clutching a heavy binder of documents, wishing you were just sitting on the beach, remember that you are not just doing paperwork, you are standing at the literal collision point of modern mobility and ancient borders. Make sure your timeline is flawless, make sure you avoid the restaurant Spanish trap, and whatever you do, make sure you know your H1 code.